This is my 2003 Toyota Highlander. It needs a new thermostat. Let's say you hop into your car one day and your heater doesn't work as well. It won't go into overdrive. That is all due to a thermostat most of the time on some Toyotas. So let me show you how to do that real quick. With this car, the thermostat is hidden behind these tubes right here, behind this box way down over there. So firstly, we need to start with this box, unhooking these tubes, unhooking all this and the wiring in the back. Beware, it's very important to color code them and hook them up exactly in this order as they're hooked up when you take this apart. Also, don't forget these wires back here and this clamp over here. So we have to take this whole thing out of here. For this job, you will need a small extension, a large extension, some sort of ratchet that fits your 12mm and your 10mm, along with some sort of pliers. I prefer vice grips, and a flat screwdriver. You also might need a clip puller and a Phillips screwdriver. Now when you're removing the bottom box here, it's important to note that you do have a breather tube that goes down and under your fuse box, so that can get caught up when you're trying to take this thing out. These ground wires are also worth mentioning, don't forget those. Unhook the top ground wires, you think you're good to go, but there's also a clip back here, and if you're not aware of that, it'll be very easy to break something. Now once you have done that, you can go ahead and drain your coolant. Now I am using the little tap that comes off of the radiator, but I wouldn't suggest that for cars this old because it can get stuck and break the radiator as you're trying to take that off. Now there is our thermostat housing right over here. So to take that off, we'll have to unhook this, being very careful not to break these plastic, and remove this entire tube down over here. It comes off of your thermostat housing down over here. Now Toyota came up with these special hose clamps that I'm sure needs a special tool to remove, but the trick is to get that little tongue into that opening right there. And that way you're going to be able to squeeze it and remove it without any problems. That is if you remove the clamps. Now I found the easier method to be just to remove the entire pipe. As you see here, the clamp is still on, but the pipe is free. Just need to wiggle it around and get it out of that housing. Now here comes the fun part. We have 3 10mm to remove. One up here, one down under there, and one back behind there. And I'm using a good old dual extension for that. And once we have those 3 nuts removed, we can go ahead and remove the housing. Now I'd like to note, it does stick, so it might need a little bit of force to get it out of there initially, and then it should be just shimming it out of there. Also being very careful not to break any of these plastics, they are quite brittle. My thermostat got stuck in the inner housing, so you might run into that issue also. There it is, got it removed. I did need some pliers to yank it out of there, but all in all it came out, and the rubber gasket was very difficult to remove. So I would suggest buy a new one right away. It might rip in the process, and it's always good to replace them while you're in here. I would like to note, before installing the new thermostat, it is absolutely crucial to have this thing at the very top, or else you might get it airlocked and have an air bubble in your head, and that's not something you want. So this is how it goes into the head. After installing the thermostat, it should be standard procedure. Throw this thing on, it goes in like so. Now this right here is the easiest method I found to installing these nuts back without them falling off. If you go in like this, and you hold the extension with one hand and the nut with the other, you could get in there without it falling off. After you get that housing on, it's all the same thing, just in reverse order, so let's speed through that. A quick tip to installing this aluminum pipe back is to align this little bracket with the bolt hole right here and slowly push that in while rotating back and forth. Now when working on projects like these, it's very important not to forget the simple stuff, like refilling your antifreeze. And there you have it. That is how you replace a thermostat on a Toyota Highlander V6. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching.